This is the real X-Files. It's not a Hollywood deal, and we're on the trail, and we're uncovering this stuff. It's groundbreaking, by the way. It's the first of anybody to actually do that. A man who's been abducted. We have hardcore physical evidence, which we took into the lab. We took a sample, and here it is. They leave this residue, and it fluoresces. It is not delusion. The fact that this man was abducted against his will, the fact that there are implants in people, the fact that there seems to be a breeding program that's going on, more and more people see these hybrid beings. It is not delusion or people are just seeing or hallucinating or something. It's hardcore stuff. The four-handed fingerprint fluoresces. The implant that we're going to remove from Bill's leg shows up in a CAT scan. It shows up in an ultrasound. It shows up on X-rays. We're not delusional. It's there. It's real. It's got the other ones have double-walled carbon nanotubes in them. So all this stuff is pointing to an outside agency that's interfacing with humankind in a very nefarious way, in my opinion.
Does any of this have to do with anything at the New Dulce? Am I pronouncing that right? New Dulce in New Mexico?
Yeah, Dulce in New Mexico. Right?
Okay, all right. Is there anything? Does this have anything? What you're talking about is how does that fit in? I'll just ask that question.
Dulce, New Mexico is an underground base. There's a place called the Hall of Horrors, the Corridor of Horrors there, where genetic experimentation has been done. There's human hybrid beings, human-animal chimeras, which are in this hallway in Dulce. Several years ago, it was announced in the UK that 150 human-animal chimeras were destroyed. Thank you. Isn't that wonderful? Doesn't that make you sleep well at night? Knowing that they destroyed 150 human-animal chimeras so they did not come into fruition. They were ethical and destroyed them. They probably did destroy 150 out of the 2,000 that they let come to fruition, that they let mature. Something is going on. And again, Jesus tells us, like the days of Noah. And when you read the book of Enoch, the fallen angels seemingly were messing with the animal kingdom also. It said they sinned with the animals. And what we see in Greek mythology is minotaurs and centaurs and all this kind of stuff, and fawns. And the question is that really mythos, or is it founded in truth? Were these entities, were these creatures, which were never supposed to be, roaming the earth at the time of the days of Noah? And, of course, so far we have not found skeletal remains, but that doesn't mean that they didn't exist. And maybe at some point we will find something. We just don't know.
When a person gets an implant or is the recipient of an implant, such as the one that you were talking about, is there a change in that individual's DNA that has been discovered or is perceptible or is known in some way, shape, or form? In other words, does the implant change the recipient's DNA?
These implants will change the host DNA. These implants are changing the host DNA. When we look at the book of Revelation, we're told this very bizarre scripture that in the latter days, in the time of the Antichrist, that you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade without the mark. Then we read that anyone who takes the mark, somehow these grievous sores break out. God sends an angel and affects the mark in some way. Grievous sores break out on the people who have the mark. Then we find out that in those days, what days? The days of the mark, people will seek death and not find it. Again, is that metaphor? Or like the days of Noah, is the lifespan extended 500, 700, 900 years? We don't know. It says very specifically in the book of Revelation, anyone who takes the mark winds up in the lake of fire. And what's interesting about this is the same judgment we see over and over and over again in Scripture when dealing with the Nephilim. So show me where I'm going wrong. Everyone in the flood who's Nephilim is destroyed. We then see Sodom and Gomorrah. What is Sodom and Gomorrah, in my opinion? Nephilim stronghold. Why is a loving God throw down a mandate to Joshua and Caleb to destroy everything in the Levant, the Promised Land, men, women, children, animals, burn it all. Kill it all, burn it all. That's genocide, unless, of course, we're looking at something else which warrants a genocide. And the thing is, these entities that are living there, I call the soulless ones. They are, I believe, that the Nephilim are soulless ones. They are without souls. And these animals in the animal kingdom that's there, these chimeras, are an abomination. They're not supposed to be there. This is something that's never supposed to be, which is why the mandate from a loving, holy God goes out to destroy everything in the Levant, because the Nephilim are there. Well, guess what? That same mandate we see in the book of Revelation. You take the mark, you wind up in a lake of fire. Is there any grace and mercy? The short answer to that is no. There's not a shred of grace and mercy extended to anyone who takes the mark. Now, here's the deal. And I always get this. Well, LA, I think I got something in me. Get an X-ray and get the thing out. You know, what if they force it on me? Well, you know, if they force you to take it, which I don't, you know, you can still dig it out, right? I mean, what's the deal here? So I don't think that if it's against our will, somehow, and don't ask me how all this works because I don't know, but somehow there's a way to get these things out. That's why this guy, where he wants it out of him.
Right.
That's all I know.
Okay, and you've done a very good job explaining that.